Greetings friends and welcome back to the channel and a slightly different video for you today. You may not realize that as a gaming content creator, my workflow is a little bit different than maybe most gaming content creators in the sense that I am an Apple Mac user. I do not have a PC and I game predominantly on consoles such as the Nintendo Switch, the PlayStation consoles and the Xbox consoles, and all of my captures and everything like that are done predominantly on a brand called Avermedia, and I use this little capture device here, which is the Avermedia Live Gamer Portable, and it is the 2 Plus. Now, what is really great about this particular device, this little Toblerone shaped thing, is that it has features such as 4K pass-through, but it tops out recording at only 1080p 60. Now that's wonderful if you are gaming on a 4K monitor, because it allows you to still have that high resolution experience, but your actual recordings are only 1080p 60. Wouldn't it be wonderful if you could actually capture at 4K 60 frames per second on an external device? So in steps, the Avermedia Live Gamer Ultra 2.1. This is for next generation consoles, specifically where you can get up to 4K 144 Hz. Your PC as well, it is compatible with PC as well, but you can capture 4K 60 frames per second over HDMI 2.1, and with the USB 3.2 Generation 2 data transfer ports, which allow up to 10 gigabits per second. Now, I'm a huge fan of Avermedia products, so when this hit the market, I just had to have one. It was time I upgraded the little Live Gamer Portable. This is a great device. You can record directly to an SD card. You've got little 3.5mm headphone jacks, which you can hopefully see there, which allow you to get your party chat and everything recorded, combined into the capture. And there's a lot of great features about this, but it obviously tops out at only 1080p 60. So what I'm excited to see about this one is, does it give the dream of 4K 60 capture on an external device for my PlayStation 5, for my Xbox Series X, and hopefully I can still use my Apple Mac computer, which is an M1 MacBook Pro with the Max chip, so it is an absolute monster, but it's not a PC. And the thing that I have already researched about this is that whilst it says on the website it is only Windows compatible, I think that is for the Rec Central software and possibly drivers for the device, but we'll see. We're going to test it out, we're going to unbox it, we're going to try and plug it in and see if it just pops up as a capture device, because the documentation for this little guy said the same thing, that it was not Mac compatible, but that was really for the software. I don't need to use the software, I just need the device to appear as a source that is selectable in my capture software, which is separate from Rec Central. So anyway, I'm excited to check this out. I'm excited for what this could mean if it works flawlessly. But even if it is still not showing up and not properly compatible just yet on Mac, the website does say that by the end of 2023, the software should be available. So even if it is just a case of waiting for some drivers to be released out there so I can update the device, it's going to work eventually, but I'm hoping that in the here and now, please, it will work. So anyway, that's enough of an intro. Let's hit the overhead camera and get this thing unboxed and take a look. Okay, here we go. The Live Gamer Ultra 2.1 from Avermedia. As you can see, it allows for up to 4K 144 Hz pass-through. So even if you are a PC gamer, you can actually use this with a high refresh rate monitor, but it will allow you to capture 4K 60 at a variable refresh rate as well. If we take a look at the back of it, there's all the details as well. So as you can see, capture, stream and party chat with ease. It uses an interface of USB 3.2 Generation 2 10 gigabits per second, and it is of course Type-C USB. You've got input and output pass-through of HDMI 2.1, hence those ultra high frame rates and resolution. The max pass-through is 4K 144 HDR or 1440p 144 HDR or 1080p 240 HDR, and the max recording resolution is 4K 60 frames per second and a whole bevy of additionally supported resolutions as well. So what do you get in the box? What is impressive about this is the size of this little guy. Move that out of the way. Look at the size of this thing. It is absolutely tiny. Absolutely tiny. It is incredibly small and portable. There's your RGB lighting right there. And if I flip this over, you have your HDMI in, your HDMI out, your USB 3 port right there, your headphone and game there as well if you want to record party chat, all part of the device. So what a great little device. Let's set that to the side and see what else we have in the box. So we have our audio cables, that's fine, and we have the power cable, USB-C power cable. It is always recommended that you only use the cables supplied in the box as well. And there is your HDMI cable, and that is an ultra high speed HDMI 2.1 cable. So that is important that you have to use that, or if you are using your own HDMI cables, make sure they are tagged as HDMI 2.1 ultra high speed. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to capture at the max resolutions and frame rates which this device is capable of. Get this boxed away, and the only things we should need are the power cable, obviously the device itself, and the high-speed HDMI cable. So let's see if this thing is actually going to be compatible with my Mac. So first things first, you can see that the capture card is showing up. So that is first of all a result, and if I just switch over in this drop-down menu to Live Gamer Ultra 2.1, it is already showing up. And as you can see, because of this window here where I set my capture settings, we are on 4K and we are capturing at 30 frames per second. And because of those settings within the capture software, the card has automatically detected that, and it has changed to 2160p 30, which is fantastic. Now if we just switch over to full screen, you should be able to see a full 4K capture image of the menu screen of Spider-Man 2 running on the PlayStation 5. And let's have a look at some gameplay.
We're ready. Are you good?
Promise me something.
Anything.
If this doesn't work,
So far it
take
looks
me out.
absolutely pristine.
It'll
You
work.
can really see the skin pigment and
I don't have
texture
a lot
the
of time
skin
left.
and all of the individual hairs on
I
each
want a chance to
character.
say goodbye.
I'm not going to
This
lose
is of
you.
course the opening cinematic.
I will never let you go.
Not bad for a 4K capture, I have to say. And if we just show the interface again, you can see we're still recording, we're still capturing at 4K 30 frames per second, and we're getting this incredible opening of the two Spider-Men together, transitioning into gameplay from really high quality cinematics. And we the player now take over, swinging through the city with all of the visual effects turned on. We've got the motion blur, the camera shake when Pete swoops down, swings down really close to street level. Quite stunning. So that is a look at the 4K 30 capture. But what about 4K 60? That's what it says on the box that this thing can actually do. However, unfortunately for now, and maybe this is where driver support will come into play on the Avermedia side, for some reason I cannot get the capture card to recognize 4K 60 frames per second. Whenever I change my capture settings, it just maxes out at 4K 30. But if you do want that silky smooth 60 frames per second gameplay, you can record natively in 1440p. And because this is a 4K 144 pass-through capture card, you're still getting maybe 4K 60 frames per second gameplay or above, but you can capture at 1440p 60. But right now on an Apple Mac system, you cannot capture, or I can't seem to get it to work anyway, a 4K 60 frames per second capture. But what we're going to do is head over to 1440p setup and show you that 60 frames per second capture right now. Okay, you're now seeing my software interface again, and in the gameplay window, which is just up here, you can see we have changed the graphics mode over to performance mode. And up here in this camera effects window, because I have changed my streaming settings, if I have a quick look here before that, it's now at 1440p 60 frames per second. If you remember before, we were at 4K 30 frames per second, and the capture card has updated its own recording capture settings to be 1440p 60 frames per second. So let's begin the gameplay again and see how much smoother it is. But of course, when you're switching graphics settings, you have to restart the game, which is fine. And there you go. Oh my goodness, it is so much smoother. It may not be quite as pin sharp with graphical fidelity, but it still looks really, really impressive. And it is swinging, and it is playing unbelievably smoothly. Swinging smoothly as well. Really, really quite incredible. Look just how smooth it is. And the fact that I can now capture 1440p 60 or 4K 30 frames per second is going to be a huge, huge upgrade for my own personal workflow. So there you go, everyone. That is a first impressions and testing look at the Avermedia Live Gamer 2.1 capture card. If I move my finger there, you can see that it offers 4K 144 pass-through, 4K 60 capture, and variable refresh rate as well. Now, whilst I haven't been able to get the 4K 60 capture working natively on a Mac workflow, apparently it works plug and play straight out of the box on a PC setup. So if you're looking for an external capture card for your PC, you should be absolutely fine. But if you are an Apple user like myself, you may have to wait just a little bit longer. Apparently, the website does say that by the end of this year, 2023, drivers and software support will be released. It's just taking a little bit longer. So I'm hoping that does prove to be the case, and I will have an update video for you when that actually happens. But for now, I am over the moon at being able to capture and broadcast at 1440p 60 frames per second or 4K 30 frames per second. And to be honest, as I am predominantly a console gamer on the PlayStation 5, on the Xbox Series X consoles, and even the little Nintendo Switch, but certainly for those big two next generation consoles, very few games even run or play at 4K 60 frames per second. They are usually 1440p 60 anyway, so the fact that I can natively capture at that resolution or jump into my fidelity mode and capture that at 30 frames per second at 4K, I'm very much happy with this product. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think about it. Are you thinking about an update to your capture card? So far, this is the only one that I've really seen that has hit the market for an external option. I know there are PCIe card options like the Elgato 4K 60, and Avermedia even have HDMI 2.1 PCIe card options for an internal desktop PC setup. But in terms of external capture devices, there seem to be very few on the market right now. I'm not even sure if Elgato have a product on the market just yet, but it looks like Avermedia are maybe the first to market. I'm not too sure, but the fact that I have this in my hands right now means I'm very, very happy. And the fact that it is sub £300 is really, really quite impressive. I think that's pretty competitive. External devices are always going to be far more expensive than an internal capture card, but if you're a console gamer that has a laptop and doesn't necessarily have the means to put an internal card into your system, then you're going to be relying on external devices, and this is a massive upgrade for me anyway. Let me know. Thanks for watching, take care, and happy gaming. Bye bye.